Welcome to Wilkins Stadium as we are set for game number 2 of our doubleheader tonight between the Shockers of Wichita State and the Knights of Central Florida. Steve Strain and Jamie Hull with you as Jamie, Wichita State got a wild 9-8 victory in game number 1 of this doubleheader that went 8 innings, and we saw a little bit of everything in that one. And the Shockers, though, with a 4th spot in the bottom of the 8th, got it done.
Definitely, and we saw, the Shockers doing exactly what they know how to do, and that's hit the long ball. We've seen them do it time and time again. It makes all the difference offensively when you provide that power, and we saw that from Riley Buck here. And this was that controversial play because it just went off the glove of Schopacker out in left field, and that went all the way over, and she was shocked. Everyone was. It completely stunned everyone, and that continued the lead for the Wichita State Shockers in the bottom half of that inning.
That was a 2-run homer that got Wichita State within 1, and then a few batters later it was Bailey Lang that came up and delivered her 2nd home run of the game, and that in the bottom of the 8th inning, the game winner into the teeth of the wind, and there was no doubt about it.
Bailey Lang was just one of those people Wichita State could lean on that game. She did phenomenal out on the mound with so many strikeouts, opportunities at the plate too, 2 home runs. She just did it all for Wichita State. You can see Mackenzie Wright just pumped there for her pitcher.
Now, the Shockers had some issues defensively, and so they've made a change here in Game 2. Mariana Gemelli is going to play second base as Kaylee Hecker had a difficult time on some fairly routine ground balls her way that were very costly for Wichita State. In fact, some unearned runs that wouldn't have allowed us to go to extra innings. But those things happen. That's a part of the game. But Gemelli will get the start in Game 2. Megan Greenwell leads it off for Central Florida. Caitlin Bingham, the pitcher for Wichita State. And the second pitch is a foul, so the count is no balls and 2 strikes to Greenwell. And there's a look at Gemelli out at second base. Central Florida had a 4-run 6th and a 3-run 8th, Jamie. And again, a couple E4s. A big help for the Knights in getting those 7 runs. No balls and 2 strikes. And this one is bounced foul, and she may have been out of the box. She was. And out is Megan Greenwell. Well, she had a long swing at that one, then started her way up the first baseline, and that one struck her when she was already out of the box, and she is out. So there's one away, and here's another look.
That's going to be the toughest part about being on the left side of the plate and be a slap hitter. You can see the goal is to put the ball on the ground, but also to get out of the way so that it doesn't hit you out of the box. You can see everybody reacting to that one.
Fly ball, right field, and right there is going to be Bailey Lang to make the catch. So there's 2 away now. It actually looked like it hit the bat on the follow-through, but still, out of the batter's box, you are out. And so 2 quick outs here as Lang makes the catch. And now Aubrey Johnson will step in. So Caitlin Bingham making quick work of Central Florida. Barely scratched the surface of talking about her as the first pitch now to Aubrey Johnson comes in low. 1 ball and no strikes to Johnson. But Bingham making her 22nd appearance of the season. This is her 14th start. She is 2-4 on the year. Here comes the 1-0 up high. But the last time we saw her, Jamie, was here against Tulsa when she was very, very good. Unfortunately, she didn't get the win, but Bingham was solid against the Golden Hurricane here a couple Sundays ago. The 2-0 swung on and missed for a strike, and it's now 2-1.
Yeah, Bingham in that game against Tulsa threw 6 innings, only giving up 2 hits and had 3 strikeouts. So you can see her on the season here with her numbers. She's going to be somebody that Wichita State's looking to lean on in her freshman season here, and so far so good for Caitlin Bingham.
Aubrey Johnson fouls the pitch back. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to her. One of the things that you notice about Bingham, Jamie, is her strikeout to walk ratio has been trimmed down to just 10 more bases on balls than strikeouts. Control had been an issue for her prior to that outing, as this one is chopped foul again over toward third.
And Bingham's not going to be that dominant pitcher that's going to strike everybody out, but what she is going to do and where she's going to be most effective is getting ground ball outs, and we've seen just a few of those so far. 1 fly ball out today, but we have seen some ground ball foul balls, and so you're going to see that happen time and time again with Bingham as she is looking to really make the outs happen with her defense behind her.
Here comes the 2-2, and that one down and in. The count's now full at 3-2. 54 in the third innings for Bingham on the season. 56 hits, 46 earned runs. Opponents batting .259 against her. So far today, so good. 2 up, 2 down. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. And that one is inside, and she's issued a walk, and Johnson down to first base. So a 2-out walk, and that will bring up now Kara Klarkowski. Each team got to double digits in hits in the first game. Wichita State with 13, Central Florida with 10. And a wild 9-8 victory for the Shockers that win 8 innings. First pitch to Klarkowski is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Including all the wild things we saw in the first game was a very wild strike zone. We'll see if that changes with a new umpire behind the plate. This one upstairs for a ball, 1-1. It was really all over the map, it seemed, in the first game.
Really was, and I think as both a hitter and a pitcher, that can be really frustrating to try and find that zone, and Wichita State just able to come out on top with more hits than the Knights in the last game, and I think that's really what it boiled down to in the end, because each team had 3 errors. Pitchers struggled a little bit, but really at the end of the day, it was all a matter of who was going to hit the ball the furthest, and Wichita State ended up being that team in game 1.
Hot shot deflected off the glove of Bingham. Over to Derrico at short. That's going to be a 1-6-3 to retire the side. So a 2-out walk, the only thing Central Florida could do to make some noise. After half an inning, Knights nothing. Shockers coming up.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Scoreless top half of the first inning for Central Florida. Now the Shockers will get their first look at Cameron Toney, who is a right-handed pitcher for Central Florida, and she will see the tough out in Mackenzie Wright. That'll lead it off for Wichita State. Shockers will go with mostly the same lineup, although again Mariana Gemelli gets the start at second base in this game for Wichita State, and she will bat ninth. And here we go. Tony's first pitch to Wright is down low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Wright, a couple more hits in the first game. Started the day with her batting average at .362. She's upped it to .368 now in real time after the 2 hits in the first game. Even in the count. 1-1 against Toney. Hot shot and another one for Mackenzie. Right back up the middle, and she's on with a leadoff base hit as she just continues her torrid hitting.
You want to talk about a traditional leadoff hitter, you typically see a lefty slapper, someone with a lot of speed, kind of does some small ball, not Mackenzie Wright. She sends this one right back up the middle. She's got great power. We see it time and time again, just her on-base percentage continuing to skyrocket as she has a .456 on-base percentage just coming into this game.
Asia Weber now steps in from the left side of the plate. She went 1 for 3 in the first game. Moved up to the 2-hole for the Shockers with a .267 average. And she takes, and the count's even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cameron Toney is making her 12th start of the season. This is her 18th overall appearance. Even record at 3-3 with a 2.41 earned run average. 40 2/3 innings for her as she comes way upstairs. And the count is now 2-1.
Toney's a sophomore from Covington, Georgia. The only player here for Central Florida from the state of Georgia.
And again, only 2 seniors on this entire Knights roster. As good of a year as they've had this season, it looks like it could very well be that way for a while. With people like Tony and Aaliyah White, who we saw in the first game in the circle. Young, talented team that's having a very nice season and has a chance to win a regular season conference championship. But Tony has walked Weber here, and the Shockers quickly 2 up and 2 aboard. Here's Lori Derrico.
Weber doing a nice job today. You know, in game 1, had a few walks as well. So 2 walks in game 1, a walk here. Sometimes that's all it takes. Just get on base, swing at good pitches, and if you don't get any, take your base. She's done a great job of doing that today.
Derrico is in against Tony now, and Lori takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Lori had 5 at-bats in the first game, picked up a hit, 1 for 5. She's bunting here. It's a good one back to Tony, whose only throw will be to first base, and that will actually turn out to be a 1-4 sacrifice for Derrico that moves a pair into scoring position. 1 away.
Talk about everybody in the lineup really doing their job. Lori Derrico, typically known for her power, but able to put down a nice little bunt here and to advance her teammates, Wright and Weber, to second and third.
And Riley Buck is going to bring at least 1 in. Base hit fair down the line and left. It'll score 2. And Riley now down to second, and this one goes into the corner, and the Shockers have grabbed a 2-0 lead. So it'll be a double for Buck that brings home Wright from third and Weber from second, Jamie, as she pulls one right down the line.
And that's really where you go back to Derrico's bunt. It's where it makes the difference. Get your players where you need to for someone like Riley Buck to come up in the clutch and get that ball out into the outfield and score 2 quick and easy runs. No need to do too much at the plate there as Weber able to come in on her feet because she was that much closer to home plate with that bunt from Derrico. Great job from Buck to get it out to the outfield when necessary to get her runs in.
Bailey Nickerson takes the ball, 1-0. 9th double of the season for Riley. Runs batted in, 24 and 25. And the Shockers attacking quickly here in the bottom of the first inning as Nickerson takes down low. Still a wind blowing in from right field here at Wilkins Stadium. From the direction the flag is blowing, you would probably be most accurate to call it a wind out of the southeast, which is rather unique here in Wichita as a strike is taken and the count's now 2-1. It did not have any effect on Bailey Lang's home run to right field, as that was a bomb off the bat from the time we knew it. From the time she hit it, we knew it was gone, I should say, as this went inside for a ball. 3 balls and a strike. Every Shocker in the starting offensive lineup had a base hit in the first game. High bouncer to third, fielded by Esparza, and a throw to first in time for a 5-3 put out there, 2 away. As Buck had to stay at second with that bouncing ball over to third.
It's a great job over here from Esparza at third base, just to kind of wait for that ball to come down and really knowing who you had at the plate and how much time you had. Nickerson not known for her speed at the plate and able to take her time as Esparza to get that out over at first.
So Paige Llewellyn is in now. She had 3 hits for the Shockers in the first game. The only Shocker that had 3 hits. As she's taken 2 balls and the count's 2-0 to her. Got the average up to 339 with her 3 for 5 game 1. That one way upstairs again. That'll be a wild pitch. And down to third base goes Buck. Is that one too tall for Brewer behind the plate to get a glove on that one?
We talked about Aaliyah White in game 1 for UCF, and you talk a little bit about Cameron Toney now for the team that's out on the circle. This is only her second start in the conference. Typically, Aaliyah White is going to start every single game, had 11 starts in the conference leading into today. So that certainly shows you that they lean on Aaliyah White quite a bit. And with our expected weather in Wichita tomorrow, UCF having to face Wichita State in a doubleheader today, that makes all the difference in who you're going to be able to pitch. And Tony having to come in and kind of be leaned on here in game number 2.
So the doubleheader change has worked to the favor of Wichita State now. With White unable to pitch both games today, obviously. You don't want to wear her out. Still with another game on Sunday. Bailey Lang is in now. 1 ball and no strikes to her. And you wonder what Cameron Toney is thinking now, having watched Lang hit one out of the park twice in the first game. And she looks like she wants nothing to do with Bailey Lang so far. 2 pitches, not even close.
Yeah, she's really struggled to hit the strike zone so far. A walk against Weber, 3 balls against Nickerson, a walk against Llewellyn, and now 2 balls to Bailey Lang. So definitely more balls than strikes that we've seen out of Tony so far. Just going to be a matter of really slowing things down. Although she doesn't get a whole lot of time out on the mound, this is going to be her chance to really keep her team alive and make sure that she can get the outs when necessary, already having 2 so far. So not struggling too much, but just needs to find the zone and see if she can get a big out of Lang.
Let's talk about how big this series is again for Wichita State. We did in the open of game 1, but some folks may have missed it as the conversation will continue out in the circle. But you've got the conference standings here with Wichita State in a logjam at 6-6 starting today. Shockers did get the win. They don't own the tiebreaker, though, with any of Memphis, Houston, or Tulsa. So if the Shockers want to be in that 3rd or 4th spot, they're going to have a better conference record because those other 3 schools beat the Shockers in 2 out of the 3 games they've played with each of them.
And although the Shockers still have ECU, East Carolina, who's down at the bottom part of the conference, they still have them left, but they also still have the dangerous Central Florida that you see here and South Florida down in Tampa just before the conference tournament. So they've certainly got their hands full with some good teams coming up, and they're going to have a lot to prove when that time comes.
A 4-pitch walk to Bailey Lang. She'll head down to first, and the Shockers with first and second and 2 away for Madison Perrigan. And then the other element that plays into this is the RPI factor. Wichita State at 34 in the nation, and beating a team like Central Florida would only enhance your resume as far as that's concerned as well. A team that's won 30 games this season, and they're a top 60 RPI team as well. Strike to Perrigan, 0-1.
Looks like an illegal pitch call, too. So the conversation will go back to Tony behind in the count again, that now being turned into a ball.
Here's another look at it again, Jamie.
Tough to tell. There's a lot of things that could be considered an illegal pitch. It could be that her back foot came off the rubber. Here in softball, you do have to have both feet touching the rubber as you get started with your windup. It did look like her back foot may have slid off, and that's definitely going to be the most common illegal pitch call here in softball.
2-0 to Perrigan, and she takes a strike, 2-1. Madison with a base hit in the first game. She's hitting out of the 8th spot. Then Mariana Gemelli waits on deck. Just above the letters, 3-1. And Tony is struggling down at the bottom of the Wichita State order now. Walks to Llewellyn and Lang at 6 and 7, and she's down 3-1 to Perrigan. And Madison hits a little floater out to second. That's going to be snared by Aubrey Johnson. But the Shockers scored 2 on the 2 RBI double by Riley Buck. And after 1, it's Wichita State up by a 2-0 count.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Second inning from Wilkins Stadium, game 2 of our doubleheader, in Wichita State has another lead, 2-0. Shockers had a couple of 4-run leads in the first game before not only did they lose the lead and have the score tied at 5 apiece, they were down 3 in the 8th inning before scoring 4 times. But Caitlin Bingham there in the circle, her teammate Bailey Lang, who's now in right field, had 2 home runs in the first game, including the game winner in the bottom of the 8th, and Wichita State won 9-8. So now it's in the hands of Bingham. As we start inning number 2, Jasmine Esparza will step in. First pitch to Esparza, down and in for a ball. One thing we haven't talked about today, Jamie, in a late afternoon or early evening game that we normally do, is the shadows, and that's because on this very cloudy day we haven't had to deal with that. Swing and a miss. It has been cloudy and overcast for most of the game, so nobody on the right side having to shade their eyes like they normally do this time of day.
Yeah, Wichita is expecting some much-needed rain tomorrow and really into the night tonight. So not really seeing a whole lot of sunshine. We saw a little bit of a pop out earlier today, but mostly overcast now, which is probably a nice break for our right side of the field during this time of the day.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Esparza, who was one of a few Central Florida hitters to pick up 2 hits in the first game. Nobody had 3 or more, but 4 players, including Esparza, had 2 hits apiece. The 1-2. She took something off, did Bingham, and this one is popped over to third. That was a really good changeup. You could see Esparza ready to swing, then she had to wait because the speed was taken off, the hook was pulled, and then she just lunged out and popped it to third.
Yeah, 1-2 count's a great one for a pitcher. I mean, you are going to see whatever pitch they feel most comfortable with come right at you, whether it's going to be out of the zone, hard rise ball, or a nice little changeup. And Bingham, nice choice there because she definitely kept Esparza off balance on that at bat.
Strike to Brooke Barlow, and it's 0-1. Madison Perrigan, though, wants to call time and go talk to Caitlin. And again, you touched on the forecast for tomorrow with rain that may even move in late tonight, but certainly tomorrow, rain in the forecast through almost the entire day we could have, according to what the forecast looks like. So doubleheader today, no softball tomorrow, and then a noon first pitch on Sunday. And Sunday is when we will recognize the 3 seniors on this Shocker squad. Ground ball to second. Jameli is there, throws to first for a 4-3 putout, 2 away. And now, I think I heard illegal pitch has been called. So hold everything. That's going to bring Barlow right back to the plate, and instead of a 4-3 putout, Barlow is back at the plate. So already 2 illegal pitches here in the game, 1 for each team. And that'll even the count now, 1 ball and 1 strike. And instead a ground ball to first. So instead of a 4-3 put out, it goes 3 unassisted. No harm after the illegal pitch. And they're 2 away for Erin Emanuel. Riley Buck, that made that play at first, had one of the other very bizarre plays in that first game, in addition to everything else that we saw. As the pitch to Emanuel's a strike. She and Perrigan were going after a fly ball over near the on-deck circle on the first base side, and the wind was playing with the ball up in the air, and by the time it came down, Perrigan had her glove on it, fell to the ground, the ball popped out, pitch bounces in. And nobody could see the softball other than probably Perrigan and Buck because they fell to the ground simultaneously, laying next to each other. Buck just picked the ball off. We don't know if it was off the ground or off of Perrigan. And it was called a fly out. Bounce out here, and Buck a nice scoop. So a little more magic for Riley, and the side retired in order. After 1.5, Shockers 2, Knights nothing.
Introducing Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Ready for the bottom of the second inning. Wichita State played at 2 in the bottom of the first, and they're right back up there now again after a 1-2-3 in the top of the second inning. And it'll be Mariana Gemelli that'll lead off for Wichita State, the number 9 hitter in the order to start it off. Then back to the top of the order with Mackenzie Wright and Asia Weber. So Gemelli steps in. Mariana, 3 of 14 on the season. This would be her 15th at bat of the year. She takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Again, Kaylee Hecker with a couple of not only errors, but they were very costly errors in the first game. And to be quite blunt, they were pretty routine ground balls that she mishandled over at second, and thus Gemelli gets the start, and Mariana grounds out to third, 1 away.
2017, Mariana Gemelli did start in 31 games, had some injuries that kind of caused her to lose that spot. And, you know, Kaylee Hecker has been a phenomenal second baseman for Wichita State this year, too. So just looking for a little mix-up, and Coach Bredbender went to Gemelli from Flower Mound, Texas, there with the ground out to start off.
Mackenzie Wright sends one to center field. This one is pretty well struck and deep, and this one is gone. And Mackenzie Wright has gone yard for just the third time this season. It's 3-0 Wichita State. Jamie, center field has been the spot the last couple of games for the Shockers, and Mackenzie sends one there for the third hit of the game for the Shockers.
Mackenzie Wright continues to be just a huge threat at the plate. She leads this team in batting average during conference play, and Wichita State struggled in the conference. So if you've got someone you want to lean on, it's your senior, Mackenzie Wright, who comes up big and makes that look easy. She just bullets this one out into the outfield. The wind has certainly died down, so she didn't need any help from there. It went all the way over, and it's no question it's out there.
And speaking of the wind, by the way, that we've talked about, still blowing about 15 miles an hour in from right field toward home plate, but Wright sent that one out over center field. As a new pitcher is into the game, Sierra Word is into the game now for Central Florida. So Word is in, and Tony is gone after just 1 1/3 innings. The Shockers got to Tony for 3 runs, and now it's on to Word, who makes her 15th appearance of the season, all of them in relief. Not a huge sample size, Jamie, but she has struggled with her control. As you can see, 17 walks versus just 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, Word has actually picked up 2 wins in her last 2 appearances, throwing 5 innings and allowing just 3 hits and 1 run. So definitely a nice outing the last time that she was seen here for UCF. She's 3-0 on the season, and as you mentioned, her 15th appearance today. But with Aaliyah White, who's one of your more dominant pitchers for this staff, no one really having a huge number of innings pitched. But if there is one that you might want to lean on now, it is Word, who had a nice outing the last time that UCF used her on the mound.
Asia Weber will see the first pitch from Word. It's a strike, 0-1 to Asia, who walked and scored back in the first inning. Down as even now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Word 3-0 on the season record-wise with the 1.29 earned run average. Hot shot pulled foul over on the first base side, outside of Shocker pitching coach and first base coach Ryan Stefankowitz. Christy Bredbender is over at third.
Sierra Word is from Brooklyn, New York. Definitely a long way from home, being there in Orlando, Florida for the Knights.
2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Weber. And Asia strikes this one pretty well to center field. This one looks like it's playable, but anything is possible today. It is caught in left field by Bejarano, and there are 2 away. I say that because we thought we had a playable fly ball to left field in the first game that went in and out of the glove of Schopaker in left field, and it ended up being a home run. But that one squeezed in by Bejarano, and there are now 2 outs. Now Lori Derrico goes right after the first pitch and sends it to second, and Aubrey Johnson is there, and the side retired. But Mackenzie Wright, a solo shot to center, and the Shockers up by 3.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Top of the 3rd inning, 3-0 Wichita State. Shockers 2 runs and 2 hits in the first inning, 1 run, 1 hit in the second. So they've been efficient matching hits for runs. 3-0 Wichita State. Haley Bejarano, Tamisha Glover, then back to the top of the order with Megan Greenwell here in the top of the 3rd inning against Caitlin Bingham. So Bejarano steps in, and she takes a strike from Bingham, and it's 0-1. Bejarano had a couple of at-bats in the first game. She went 0 for 2. Bounced in by Bingham, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Bejarano's a freshman from Surprise, Arizona, where they do a little bit of preseason baseball.
Yeah. Royals train there. Texas Rangers share that same complex as well.
Be a fun place to be from.
That would.
Sure, she's been out there a time or 2.
1 hopper to Mackenzie Wright over at 3rd, and the toss to first, a 5-3 putout, 1 away. That would make sense if you're from Arizona. If you're not going to stay around there to play college softball, you go someplace with similar weather like Florida. Here's Tamisha Glover, the designated player. Now, Jamie, you're going to be leaving us here very shortly, just to alert our viewers. Another hot shot to right, goes down to an E and throws to first. What a play. I didn't even get a chance to have Jamie explain why she's leaving or where she's going, but she's gone. Just like that. They're actually recognizing Shocker alumni between innings of this game. So Jamie will be out there along with a handful of other former Shockers that are going to get recognized between innings. And so Jamie's going to go be a part of that as the first pitch to Megan Greenwell. She swings and misses. It's 0-1. So Jamie will do that. Then she'll be back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So far, 2 quick outs recorded by Caitlin Bingham and her defense behind her here in the 3rd, particularly Mackenzie Wright, who's had a couple of bouncing balls her way. 2 outs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Greenwell, who is 0 for 1. Skipped in, and Perrigan calls time. 2 balls and a strike. The count to Greenwell. Caitlin Bingham started in one of the games in the Houston series. Of course, the Shockers only won one of those 3 games. That was the Saturday game. They had the heartbreaking loss Friday, and then Houston took care of the Shockers on Sunday as well. But she was, as we talked about earlier, very good here in her last start against Tulsa. 2 balls and a strike, and the pitch sliced into left center field. That's going to get down, and that's going to roll for a while. And rounding second and on her way to third is Greenwell. Here comes the throw, and she's safe. And what ended up being a close play at third, Wright got the tag down just a little after Greenwell had a headfirst slide into third, and that will be a triple. Greenwell was just flying around second base, and there was no doubt in her mind she was heading to third, and a good job by the Shockers defensively, though, to get that back to third base in a hurry after a slide in center field. But look at this throw by Derrico that was right on the money. The tag just a little late, and it's a triple for Greenwell. Cassidy Brewer in now, and a good stop by Perrigan. 1 ball and no strikes. Just the second triple of the season for Greenwell, as this one is down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Cassidy Brewer 0 for 1. She flied out to right field in the second inning. In there for a strike, and it's now 2-1. Brewer went 2 for 4 in the first game. She also scored a run. Here comes the 2-1. Bounced right back to Bingham, and a toss to first in time. So no damage done after a 2-out triple. And we'll go to the bottom of the third. Wichita State 3, Central Florida nothing.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
On to the bottom of the third inning. Shockers up by the score of 3-0. Wichita State with a 2 spot in the first inning, a single run in inning number 2. We'll see what they can do here in the third as Wichita State tries to make it a doubleheader sweep of Central Florida here tonight, and then enjoy that on Saturday where there will be no softball because of a lot of rain expected in Wichita. We'll wrap up this series then here at Shocker HD, brought to you by WSUTV. First pitch at noon Sunday as we wrap up the series. Jamie Bredbender is making her way back to the booth now after they had a little alumni recognition between innings. So we'll get Jamie back here shortly and talk a little bit about that. But first, it's Riley Buck to lead things off for the Shockers here in the bottom of the third inning. Buck, Bailey Nickerson, and Paige Llewellyn. 4, 5, and 6 for the Shockers as Buck sends one to right field. Pretty well struck to left, and coming on and making the catch is Bejarano, and that was a bit of an adventure as she had trouble squeezing that one in for a minute before she did, and there's one away. Of course, in the first game again, there was a home run hit to left field where the ball was not squeezed in, and it went out of the glove and over the fence. Here, a little bit of a trouble for Bejarano, and she squeezed it. Now the next batter is Bailey Nickerson. She sends this one high to center field, And Klarkowski is there, and she makes the catch. So 2 very quick outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And that'll bring up Paige Llewellyn. Word is ready, and the first pitch, Llewellyn high and away for a ball, and it's 1-0. Well, Jamie, welcome back. Barely got you here in time to catch the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2 quick outs for the Shockers, a fly ball to left and a fly to center. And now Paige Llewellyn rips one to left field. That'll be a base hit. 2-out single for Llewellyn. Paige is on for the 2nd time in the game. Well, it's good to see you out there with a number of other former players here at Wichita State getting recognized, Jamie, and I know that's something that's very important to Christy Breadbender.
It is, yeah. The alumni support is a big deal, and it has been since she got here. There's been an alumni game every fall. A lot of those girls I typically get to see, and women, of course, get to see when the fall game comes back around and the alums get to play against the current team. So it's nice to see them in the spring, too. They come out and watch a lot of games, so nice to catch up with them when I get a chance.
Bailey Lang at the plate, didn't see anything hittable her first time up, and why not after she hit 2 home runs in the first game. 0-2 the count to her here, and down she goes. And a very quick inning for Wichita State in the bottom of the 3rd, a 2-out single for Paige Llewellyn. That was all. We go to the 4th, 3-0 Shockers.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new student-athlete success center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Well, Caitlin Bingham so far has cruised along. 3 innings, just 1 hit for Central Florida. Shockers have brought 3 across as we now head to the top half of inning number 4 in a 3-0 Shocker lead. Final series for Wichita State at home in conference play. They'll have Missouri here for a doubleheader in a couple Wednesdays, but this will do it for home conference games for Wichita State as Aubrey Johnson takes down and in for a ball. It's 1-0. Swing and a miss. Jamie, you mentioned it before we went on, how quickly it seems like it's flown by, but of course the American Athletic Conference doesn't have as many softball schools as the Missouri Valley did. That's one reason why it seems like it's gone by so quickly. Bouncer to third. Mackenzie Wright's there, and a 5-3 putout to start the 4th inning. But only 8 schools. Well, actually, they called an illegal pitch. So hold on. Ryan Stefankowitz is out to talk to the field umpire about that. But back to the plate comes Johnson, so we'll also hold that thought momentarily. Stefankowitz gets an explanation. He'll go back. So instead, bring Aubrey Johnson back to the plate. But again, 4 of the 12 member schools in the American do not play softball, so that pretty much is going to narrow things down right there. Then when you factor in half your games are on the road and half at home, thus fewer home conference games in a season in the American.
Yeah, I knew things were going to feel different this year with the change from the Missouri Valley to the American, but that's one thing that makes me kind of sad because I really like a long softball season, especially a lot of home games to be able to work with the crew here. But, in the end, it's a fun change. It'll continue to be something interesting for us every year as we're going to see the teams that didn't travel to Wichita this year come and travel next year. So it'll be fun to see them and call the games and see what's going on in the rest of the American Conference.
2 balls and 2 strikes now to Johnson. And the pitch, another one to Mackenzie Wright. So it's going to be a 5-3 put out anyway as Johnson is retired. And there's one away. SMU, Tulane, Cincinnati, Temple do not field softball teams in the American. Thus, the 12-member conference only has 8 softball teams. Here's Kyra Klarkowski now. First pitch to her is upstairs for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Klarkowski had that deflection off of Caitlin Bingham in the first inning on a hot shot ground ball. It went off of Bingham's glove to Lori Derrico at short. So she was retired 1-6-3 in the first inning. 0 for 1. Chopped over toward the third base dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. Look at all the ground balls that Caitlin Bingham is getting it done with, Jamie. That one to Klarkowski. 2 ground ball outs in the second inning. 3 ground ball outs in the third and 1 here in the fourth. We've talked about Bailey Lang sometimes. Not as much of an overpowering, dominant strikeout pitcher, although the last 2 home games she has been. Gets a lot of ground balls. That is exactly what we've seen from Bingham today. This is a fly ball, and deep, and foul. Not by much. 2-2.
That was very well struck by Klarkowski, and I know so far for Central Florida, no long balls today, but that definitely had enough on it, and really no wind to factor. Just a little too inside, maybe a little too early, but certainly enough power to go over the fence.
And the wind has died down to almost nothing now as you look at the flag out in left field. There's a fly ball up the third base side. Perrigan is there. Madison's got it. And quickly 2 away for Jamie Esparza.
This is the type of adjustment you want to see out of your pitcher. And Caitlin Bingham, she comes back with a nice little off speed, and then you see Madison Perrigan coming in with that big catch. That's tough for a catcher to have to turn completely around with their mask on. You have no idea where the ball's going. Luckily, wind not a huge factor in that, but Caitlin Bingham able to keep Klarkowski off balance with a nice changeup, and Madison Perrigan with a nice catch behind the plate.
0-1 to Esparza, who swings and misses. And Jamie, Caitlin Bingham has now retired 9 of the last 10 she's faced going back to the first inning. The only runner to reach base was Megan Greenwell with that harmless little 2-out triple in the third inning where she was stranded there. If there's a such thing as a harmless triple, that would be one with 2 outs and you record the out with the next batter.
I think the defense would love the term harmless triple because typically that is going to provide some momentum for an offense and get her just to the next bag over and a nice little score. So definitely a good outcome for the Shockers.
2 balls and 2 strikes after that one skipped in low. The count is even. Nobody on, 2 outs. Top of the fourth. Shockers up 3-0. Swing and a miss, and down goes Esparza. And for the second time in just 4 innings already, Caitlin Bingham has retired this side in order to the bottom of the fourth. 3-0 Wichita State.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shock the world.
Madison Perrigan to start the bottom of the fourth inning for Wichita State. Then Mariana Jamelian back to the top of the order. Mackenzie Wright. 3-0 Shockers with the lead. Sierra Word has come on in relief and restored a little order for Central Florida. Shockers held scoreless for the first time in 3 innings in the bottom of the 3rd. They'd like to get their bats going again, but it's not going to happen here as Aaron Emanuel retires Perrigan on a 6-3 put-out, 1 away. Well, Jamie, we talked about you in Alumni Day a couple moments ago, out there with some former Shockers as well. We'll get a look at that and see what all the fun was about, but there you guys were up the right field line. We've got some former Shockers here that have played for Wichita State. Marsha Olmstead particularly, who played here in the early 70s. So they've got a few that went back quite a ways here.
Yeah, those are some fun ladies, and they have a lot of tradition. They come back in the fall typically for the alumni game, and there's been a few times we've had dinner with the current team and talked about what softball was like back then, you know. In some of those periods, there wasn't even a fence yet. The girls would drive themselves to their games, so it was just, there's a lot of things that have changed since that time, and so they come back and they talk to the current team about how thankful they should be about how big Shocker softball has become.
2 balls and a strike to Mariana Gemelli. Rips one into center field. That'll be a base hit. A 1-out single for Gemelli, and that's good to see as she came on because of the struggles of Kaylee Hecker in the first game, and now Gemelli bringing her steady glove, and now a single as well. We go back to the top of the order with Mackenzie Wright. This is not somebody right there that looked like they hadn't swung the bat much this season.
Yeah, Mariana Gemelli continues to be one of those people who works hard at practice and has continued to do so. Even though she hasn't been playing much, she's been somebody who can be a utility player for this Shocker lineup and someone who can come in the clutch and get things done. You know, she had an RBI against Tulsa, a hit against UConn and Creighton, so she's had her fair share of opportunities and has taken advantage of them when she does.
Mackenzie Wright, ground ball deep to the hole at short, and that's going to be a tough play for Emmanuel, and she might be hurt. Yeah, she's in a lot of pain, and this is not good. And you could tell from the time she planted that knee that that might hurt, and she looks like she did plant the foot and maybe injured the knee. I'm speculating early, but just from the way she planted, nope, she turned her ankle, I think. She's holding that, and that's good. You'd rather see an ankle injury than a knee, but nonetheless, you could see on the plant something went wrong.
Yeah, you can see it here again in the replay. Mackenzie Wright with the hit just into that 5-6 hole. That's a tough play anyway, but then you see her knee just kind of give out, and it was either, like you said, Steve, maybe her ankle, as she did react a little bit here a minute ago by grabbing that ankle, and you can see her getting up and trying to see if she can take a few steps on it, but definitely got caught up in the play there with the ground ball from Wright.
She's going to be helped off the field, and you hate to see that. Somebody that provides a tremendous glove for Central Florida. We saw her make a great play out at short in the first game on a high first hop. She beautifully played the second hop short and then threw to a force out, but looks like we won't see her again in this game as she's going to be taken off the field with an ankle injury.
Well, and she made a difference too in the first game offensively, had an RBI, a hit, scored twice for her team, so somebody who actually hasn't had very many starts so far this season, just making her 22nd start in this game, but someone who's made a difference today. So definitely hope that the injury is not long-lived and something that she can get back into motion for Sunday's outing.
So Caitlin Jensen has gone in and played, is at shortstop for Central Florida. Here's Asia Weber. Takes the first pitch from Word. It's a strike, 0-1. Asia, 0 for 1. She walked and scored in the first inning, popped out to left in the second, and she takes here, and it's 1-1. So back-to-back base hits for the Shockers. Gemelli with 1 out, then Mackenzie Wright followed, and those two are at second and first respectively. 2 balls and a strike to Asia Weber. This one lifted right side, Greenwell in right field, and now she's going to give way to Klarkowski, the center fielder, and she throws a rocket to third, and Gemelli is out. Well, maybe that's the reason Klarkowski called off Greenwell, because she looked primed to throw a missile to third and did, and that's going to be an 8-5 double play to end the bottom of the fourth inning. What a throw from center field by Kira Klarkowski to take us to the fifth inning. Here it is again. The catch and on the money. 3-0 Shockers as we go to the fifth.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
On to the fifth inning. Quick moving game. Shockers leading 3-0. Just one hit so far for Central Florida as Caitlin Bingham is cruising again so far through 4. Plenty of softball left, but Caitlin has been almost unhittable to this point. Central Florida with just one base hit. First pitch to Brooke Barlow is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Barlow to center, coming over to her left and making the nice catch there. On the run for Wichita State is Asia Weber, and there's one away. This is very similar to Caitlin's last start here against Tulsa a couple of Sundays ago, but the Shockers did not give her a ton of run support that day, and they ended up losing the game actually late. But she has been really good here tonight. Swing and a miss now, and this is going to be the pinch hitter who came into the game in the last half inning, Caitlin Jensen. 0-1 to her. Jensen, this is her 105th at bat of the year. She's batting .221. And she takes a strike, and quickly Bingham ahead in the count, 0-2.
Just a reminder, too, Bingham is only a freshman this year, so showing a lot of promise out there. Oklahoma native, not too far away from home. Feeling pretty good here as a Shocker so far in her first season.
1 ball and 2 strikes. When Caitlin pitched against Tulsa a couple Sundays ago here, the Shockers led 2-0 in the top of the 7th inning, but Tulsa scored 3 to win that one 3-2. Jensen barely stays alive. That was the game, Jamie, where Shannon Hughes, who was hitting 184 to start that game and had no home runs, sent one over the center field wall. And we talked about it that day. I don't think you fault Caitlin for that. When somebody's hitting less than 200, throw them strikes and roll the dice. The odds are drastically in your favor. Hughes just made good contact, and thus Tulsa won the game. Swing and a miss there for Jensen. Down she goes. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th.
Well, and you hit the nail on the head too, Steve, because the big conversation for this pitching staff has absolutely been control and focus and getting back in there and throwing strikes, doing your best to not give up those free passes, whether it be a hit by pitch or a walk, whatever it may be, just limit those. And so far we've seen that in Caitlin Bingham today and in her outing against Tulsa. So you're going to be more successful as a pitcher when you limit those free passes.
And she's doing a lot of that, trusting her defense. Only 2 strikeouts in the game for Bingham, but they're getting it done with the gloves behind her. After 4.5, the Shockers still up 3.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Lori Derrico to start the bottom of the fifth inning for Wichita State. Shockers scored their 3 runs in the first 2 innings. All goose eggs other than that, and here we go. First pitch to Derrico is taken for a strike, 0-1. Lori is 0 for 1. She had a sacrifice bunt in the first inning, then popped out to second in the second. Hot shot, nice play by Jensen over at short. A short hop and then a throw to first. Well, Central Florida replaced one good glove with another, and a nice play by Caitlin Jensen over there at short to make that play.
Yeah, and you can see how big of a difference Word has been so far for Central Florida on the mound, getting a nice little line drive there. It looked like it could have been picked up by Jensen, but instead she played it safe and made the out over at first, just in case it did hit the ground first.
And Jensen right on cue snares a line drive by Riley Buck. 2 quick outs as she's already gotten the uniform a little dirty. 2 up, 2 down.
Jensen is a freshman from Melbourne, Florida, looking like she's been playing shortstop all day. Got some nice reflexes over there, made 2 very quick and great plays over on the left side.
We could have a very quick inning, and it's going to be a hat trick for Jensen as she makes the catch. 3 very quick outs, all to short. 2 of them fly balls. We'll go to the 6th. Still 3-0 Wichita State.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Caitlin Bingham just cruising along through 5. We'll see what happens in the 6th. Wichita State leading by the score of 3-0. Hey, Shocker fans, if you want to shop the largest selection of Shocker merchandise at the official store of Wichita State, the University Bookstore is the place to go. It's located on the first floor of the Radigan Student Center on campus. Or you can shop online 24/7 at WSUBooks.com. Find everything you need for every generation of Shocker Nation. Join our Shocker Rewards program for cash back on future purchases as well. The University Bookstore is the place to shop. Right now, the place for a shutout is Wilkins Stadium. Caitlin Bingham's got one working right now here in the top of the 6th inning. Wichita State leading 3-0. And the first pitch she delivers here in the 6th to Tamisha Glover is up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Glover then back to the top of the order. Megan Greenwell and Cassidy Brewer. That one down low, 2-0. Just 2 base runners in the game for Central Florida. 1 in the first and 1 in the third. And one of those was a walk, so a 1-hitter for Caitlin. She's working on here in the top of the 6th. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Glover, who grounded out to third back in the 3rd inning. Upstairs, and it's 3-1. It's nice to know, too, though, Jamie, If Bingham gets any trouble, you've got Bailey Litsky and Bailey Lang, both, you would assume, Lang, a possibility to pitch the rest of this one. There's a drive to center field. This one clears the fence, and it's gone. And Glover has knocked her second home run of the season, and we've got a 2-run game now. It's now 3-1. That one was on a line. Somebody who, coming into the game, was hitting just 143, but one of those 10 hits was a home run, and now that's number 2.
Yeah, Glover just making her 24th start of the season, and as you mentioned, not known for her slugging, 200 slugging percentage before this at bat. So again, you kind of alluded to this earlier, Steve, Bingham giving up a nice long ball to someone else that was in the 100s in the batting average. So someone who just has to stay ahead of the batters and again shake that off as the Shockers are still ahead 3-1.
So Megan Greenwell, slapper at the top of the order, swings and misses. Nothing in one to her. And it reminded me of that home run to Shannon Hughes against Tulsa because it was to a very similar part of the ballpark, just off to the left field side of center field where that line drive went against Tulsa a couple of weeks ago. Here, a ground ball to Gemelli by Greenwell and a 4-3 putout, 1 away.
Another ground ball out from Caitlin Bingham, and that's really what it's going to come down to, is just making sure that you keep the ball down. And she let one get away from her right there with Glover, having a nice piece of hitting out of the outfield just a moment ago, but then able to bounce back quickly and get a nice first out on the ground.
Cassidy Brewer is in now and takes down low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to her. Brewer 0 for 2. She's flied out and she is grounded out. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Much cleaner game defensively as well, and it's not because Caitlin Bingham has mowed him down with strikeouts. She just has 2, but the Shockers, after a 3-error first game, none in the second game. Pitch down and away. Same story for Central Florida, though. They also committed 3 errors in game 1, and they have been clean as well here in the nightcap.
Speaking of being clean, 72 pitches. So 73rd pitch coming up for Caitlin Bingham, averaging around 11 to 12 pitches so far each inning, which is a great number to keep. And we've seen the same thing out of Word, who came in for UCF. They're both just really working fast. And we've talked about that in between innings off air, that these two pitchers are throwing strikes, getting ground balls, and making things happen for their defense.
She does issue a walk to Cassidy Brewer, who will head down to first base. That's the second walk issued by Bingham in the game, and just the 4th base runner for Central Florida here in the top of the 6th inning. And the Knights will get a courtesy runner into the game, and that's going to be Courtney Roten who's going to come in. So Roten will run over at first for Brewer, who drew the walk. And Aubrey Johnson will step in. Now, I know in baseball, where pitch count is so crucial, not nearly as much in softball, but they talk about pitchers wanting to be around an average of 15 pitches per inning. That gets you into the 7th inning, and in the 7th inning you might eclipse 100, but that's always a good barometer in the majors, where they really, really keep track of pitch count. And you're saying in softball it's a fairly similar number per inning.
Definitely. And I think, health-wise, it's going to be a more natural motion for softball to continue past 100 pitches and maybe even throw some double headers, as we, have talked about with White earlier today, as she is going to be pitching a lot more for her team at Central Florida, but not really being held to a pitch count necessarily, but it's certainly going to help you stay healthy throughout the season and also have a nice quick game. And that's really what your defense wants, is to be on and then back off the field so that they can go in and start some hitting and really look to win a ball game for you.
Aubrey Johnson at the plate has a 0-2 count on her. And the pitch. Boy, she waited till the last split second on one right out over the heart of the plate, but I think Bingham must have really pulled a string on that one.
Yeah, Johnson had a little smile on her face because she probably thought, I'm going to pat myself on the back back. I'm really glad that I tipped that, because that's really what's most important. Is you don't want to hit that ball hard. You just want to throw it away and give yourself a chance to get a different looking pitch and maybe do a little bit more with it.
1-2 now the count to Aubrey Johnson, who has one of those 2 Caitlin Bingham walks issued in the game. That came with 2 outs in the first inning and caused the Shockers no harm at all. Pop up, foul territory. Paragon can't get there in time. So Johnson stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shockers, by the way, will not have a midweek game this week. It's them in Central Florida wrap this series up the next weekend in Greenville, North Carolina, to take on East Carolina. High bouncer to right, over at third. She'll throw to second, and safe at second base is going to be the courtesy runner, as Roten got to the bag, and apparently Gemelli took her foot off of it, or Roten just got there in time. Right had to wait a while for that one to come down. And we'll see if Gemelli pulled her foot or if Roten just plain got there in time.
Looking more like she got there on time there in the replay. And the ball did go up pretty high there for Wright, so there was some time kind of lost there as far as the ball just being up in the air, not giving Wright the chance to make the play a little bit sooner. But nice jump from Roten from first to second for the safe call.
Kyra Klarkowski is in. Takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. She's got a ground out and a fly out on her ledger in game 2, and she bounces this one foul behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. The only midweek games left for Wichita State will be the Missouri doubleheader here on Wednesday, May 2nd. In fact, those are the final 2 home games of the season after the Shockers wrap up this series on Sunday. Bouncer to Derrico, juggles, no throw. And I think Roten distracted Lori right there. That one looked fairly routine. It is going to be an error, but you wonder if Roten got in the way and distracted perhaps Lori Derrico, because she crossed right at about the time that ball was heading to Lori, and then she juggled it again. We'll take a look again and see if that might be a factor. But there's Roten. Not long after she got out of the way, the ball's right there in Lori's glove, but she couldn't squeeze it in.
Well, and again, you wonder too, you know, in softball, especially with 1 out, got a few runners on, you're really feeling anxious about getting the lead runner. And I think she really was thinking hard about going to second base on that before actually making the play. And I think just taking your eye off of it for a split second can make a huge difference in a routine ground ball turning into an error, now having the bases loaded with 1 out.
So now they're loaded for Jasmine Esparza, and she takes the first pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. That is the 12th error of the season on Derrico. Well, she had 11 coming into the game. I believe she was charged with 1 in the first game. Swing and a miss there, but no matter what the number, it is tops on the team. 1 ball and 1 strike now. The count at the plate to Jasmine Esparza. They are loaded with 1 out. Here's the pitch. Fouled at the plate. So coming into this inning, only a couple of batters had reached base for Central Florida. In this inning alone, 4 have, including Tamisha Glover, who led off with a home run. They are loaded now. And Esparza takes down low. Good stop by Paragon behind the plate, using her body to keep that one from getting away. 2-2. So Bingham really needs a strikeout here or an out without allowing a run to score. Just tipped at the plate, and it's still 2-2. Kind of a similar feeling to the last game where the Shockers pretty much were in command, but had a 4-run lead in that one. Watched it evaporate late in the game, and here it's a 3-1 lead that's not evaporated yet, but getting a little close for comfort now with the tying run at second. The go-ahead run for Central Florida is over at first.
Yeah, definitely in the beginning of this game, you felt like Wichita State had a ton of momentum. They didn't look like they were going to be stopping after the second inning as far as scoring goes, and they've definitely been quiet ever since then. And so far defensively, causing a little bit of momentum shift going over to Central Florida, who now has them loaded with one out. And this is a really crucial time for Bingham out on the mound to show what she's got. She's done a great job so far today, keeping UCF off the bases and getting ground ball outs. That's the best thing she can do here. Get a ground ball, get the lead out at home plate, down to 2 outs. You take away that sac fly opportunity and really kind of see what you can do for your defense and get things going again on offense.
Sparza's yet to get one out of the infield. She's flied out to third and struck out. Here's the 2-2. Liner back up the middle. That's through for a base hit. And that is going to tie the game. So we'll start all over at 3 apiece on a 2 RBI single for Jasmine Esparza as it's come apart a bit here in the inning for Caitlin Bingham.
This is a nice piece of hitting from Esparza. We saw this in game 1 tonight, just going right back up the middle. That just goes to show you that she's made some adjustments in this game, not having gotten on yet, and then comes up in a big way, getting a 2 RBI single out to center field to provide that opportunity for Central Florida to now tie the ball game 3-3.
Now Brooke Barlow is in. Just the 3rd hit of the game for UCF, but they've tied it at 3, and I think, well, Ryan Stefankowitz motioned. I thought he was motioning to the bullpen, but I think it was actually for Christy Bredbender to come out of the dugout with him. And those two are out in the circle with the entire infield. But, boy, that's tough for Caitlin, who, again, kind of like the Tulsa game, really good through the first 2/3 or so of the game, but the Shockers not giving her enough support offensively, putting a lot of pressure on Caitlin Bingham. And in this inning, Central Florida has tied it up.
Yeah, we saw this with game number 1 earlier today. Wichita State just kind of having some lulls offensively. You know, scored 2 in the first, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth in the last game, and then didn't score again until the 8th inning when we were in extras to have to come from behind, really, and end up scoring 4 more. So the offense has been a little quiet since the 3rd inning of this game today. Bingham definitely going to be looking to them to provide a little bit more runs, as we are now tied in this game, too.
Brooke Barlow takes, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to her. Go ahead run now at second base, and the pitch outside for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes now to Barlow. Barlow started the day at under 200 at 196. Takes a strike, and it's 3-1. So all zeros for Central Florida until this 6th inning, and they've scored 3. Left side, shallow, slicing, out of play. Well, the count full, 3-2. Shockers need an out in a big way. Possibility for a ground ball double play here with runners at first and second. Instead, ball 4. To somebody who is 0 for 2, hitting less than 200 starting the day. And that looks like that will do it for Caitlin Bingham, as she has just run out of gas. Don't forget there was also a costly error in this inning out at short. But that'll do it. Bailey Klitsky is on for Wichita State, as they are loaded with Knights here in the top of the 6th inning. So Klitsky is on. The day is done for Caitlin Bingham, and now she'll watch from the dugout as Klitsky is on, and Bingham is still responsible for all 3 runners out on base. For Klitsky, this is her 23rd appearance of the season, and all but 2 of them have been in relief. 3.12 her earned run average in 42 2/3 innings. Bailey, in those 42 2/3, has given up 19 earned runs, walked 33, struck out 37. Opponents hitting .239 against her. And a few weeks ago, she was in the middle of an incredible run, Jamie, where she went 16 innings plus without giving up a hit. So the lefty from Arizona gets a final word from Ryan Stefankowitz, and here we go. Barkowski, the runner at third, Esparza at second, Barlow's at first, loaded. Aaron Emanuel steps in, or excuse me, it was Emanuel who got injured earlier, and so her replacement, Caitlin Jensen, is in.
What Wichita State really needs from Bailey Klitsky here is some control. She did struggle her last time out, and that was against Houston, having thrown a few balls, and so someone that you're really looking to come in the clutch, and then she's definitely done that so far this season, but it's going to be all about control and making sure that she's able to get the next 2 outs that the Shockers need to get out of this inning.
Klitsky comes in tight to Jensen. 1 ball and no strikes. Nowhere to put him for Bailey Klitsky. Shockers really looking for a ground ball now. They can get a force out at any base, possibly a double play. Here's the pitch. Up the first base line, and it's going to be fielded. A run will score. And now 2 away, and you wondered if Riley Buck might let that one roll foul. It looked like it might have been spinning in that direction. But instead a run scores. We'll look at it again, see if this one might have eventually spun foul.
Yeah, it's tough to say, and I think it's just going to be a matter of timing as far as what Riley Buck decides to do there, because if she lets it go and it stays fair, now you have 1 out again and a score. So sometimes you got to just decide, and it looked like Riley Buck decided to go ahead and pick up that ball and make the out. There's really no telling whether it would have gone foul or stayed fair. Nonetheless, 2 outs for the Shockers.
So Central Florida has taken the lead now with a 4 spot here in the inning, and they've got him at second and third for Haley Bejarano, who's got a no ball 1 strike count and a swing and a miss. Strike 2. But once again, you also have to go back to defense for Wichita State. Lori Derrico's error earlier this inning. Again, in her defense, that may have been aided by a base runner getting in her way. But nonetheless, it's an E on the scoreboard, and the Shockers have seen 4 score for UCF in the inning. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bejarano. The 9th batter to bat of the inning, by the way, up there now for Central Florida. Lifted over towards second. Derrico comes on and makes the catch. That will do it, but not before UCF plates 4 to take the lead after 6.5. Knights 4, Shockers 3.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Charles Koch Arena is the place where we gather as a community to compete against the very best. Now our game plan is to renovate Koch Arena by adding a new Student-Athlete Success Center. Your tax-deductible gift can help deliver that slam dunk. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Bottom of the 6th, and the Shockers, for the 2nd straight game, have seen Central Florida score 4 runs in the 6th inning. Here it results in a Shocker deficit of 4-3 as Paige Llewellyn steps in and takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Boy, lost in the shuffle of all this, Jamie, has been the job Sierra Word has done out of the bullpen for Central Florida. Boy, what a job she has done since coming on in the middle innings of this one. 2-0 to Llewellyn. Shocker bats have been very silent since Word came on. A strike to Llewellyn, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, you see the pitch count for Word there, 29 pitches, and she's been pitching since the 3rd inning. She's been very effective. Shocker's been very aggressive, and Steve and I heard their plan was actually to be selective, as that's what they said going into one of the last innings, and they haven't really done that. They've been swinging at a lot of pitches, and this one looks like it might just pay off for Paige Llewellyn.
Drive to center, but chased down by Clarkowski. Page didn't quite get all of it. I think that one was out toward the end of the bat, and Page frustrated as she has to go back to the dugout and see if she didn't hit this one a little bit off toward the end of the bat.
Yeah, that's been just a tough miss for Paige Llewellyn, because if that had anything on it, it certainly had the most that Wichita State hitters have seen since Word has come in. One of the hardest hits, at least, that we've seen so far since the 3rd inning. So just a tough miss for Paige Llewellyn. Looking for Bailey Lang to maybe do a little bit of something we saw her do in Game 1.
Which was hit 2 home runs, including a walk-off game winner in the bottom of the 8th. Bailey bunting here, and it's a good one. And she's going to make her way to first base. Well, you talk about the ultimate surprise, somebody who has 2 home runs on the day in the first game of this doubleheader comes through with a bunt base hit.
Yeah, this completely shocked everyone, and I think definitely shocked Word, who came off the mound to come and get that and just saw Bailey Lang was way too far down the line to make a throw at first base. Reaching safely is Lang to bring up Paragon.
Go Madison Paragon. Steps in now. 0 for 2 on the day. Lined out to second. Grounded is short. 0 for 2 in the game, I should say, since we were in our second game. She had a base hit, 1 for 3 in the first. Word is ready and delivers. And that one down low. Shockers would love to take it to the top of the 7th with a lead. They need 2 to do that. At the very least, get 1 in. The 1-1. Grounder, left side, fielded over at third by Esparza. And they will not get the 5-4-3, but there are 2 away. Just slow enough for Madison to get to first base. Ball wasn't held on over at first anyway. But Shockers now will send Mariana Gemelli up, who had a very nice base hit her last time up. She smashed one into center field. Christy Bredbender might be making a change over at first base with a base runner. So here we go. Gemelli with 2 away. Morgan Palmer is in over at first. She is the courtesy runner. I saw a long blonde ponytail and assumed that was Kelsheimer, but Morgan Palmer, not starting in this one, is running over at third. 1 ball and a strike to Gemelli. Mariana picked up her 4th hit of the season, her last time up. Side for a ball. Getting aboard here would be very big because Mackenzie Wright waits on deck. Shockers just needing a run to tie it in the bottom of the 6th. 3-1, and Sierra Word, as good as she's been, lost it a little bit in this at bat against Gemelli, who granted had the base hit her last time up, but I think Word wants to take care of Gemelli right here, not deal with Mackenzie Wright. Out of play, and the count's full 3-2. Probably would have been ball 4. Looked like that one was outside, and Gemelli, I think, knows it as well. And the count stays 3-2.
Yeah, you can tell Gemelli is in a 3-2 count because she's playing pretty defensive up at the plate. Can't let anything go by, and I completely agree with you, Steve. I think that would have been ball 4. And in Gemelli's mind, it's just I'm not going to let myself get called out on strike. So swinging at a lot of pitches here.
And she stays patient there, laid off of it. Mackenzie Wright will get a plate appearance this half inning as down to first base on the walk goes Gemelli. So Weber goes down to second, the courtesy runner. She represents the tying run. Mariana Gemelli, the go-ahead run. Mackenzie Wright stroked a home run in the first game of this doubleheader. She'll step in now on the first pitch to Mackenzie. Close, but outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Great timing to pick up your first walk of the season. Mariana Gemelli getting on base and getting Mackenzie Wright up to the plate, someone who's had a hot stick today.
3 for 3 in this game, including the home run. Sandwiched in between a couple of singles in the first and the fourth. The homer came in the second. Time has been called with a count 2 balls and no strikes to Wright. Kenzie's pretty loose in this clutch moment. Laughing with the home plate umpire, but now you can see she's ready to bear down. Good hitter's pitch right here. And a shot over to the left side. Esparza is just going to tag the runner out, and that will do it. So the Shockers threaten in the 6th, but they come up empty. So we go to the top of the 7th with Wichita State down 1.
Become a part of history at Wichita State University by helping us complete X Stadium. A new 10,000 square foot performance facility will give our baseball, softball, tennis, and golf student athletes the strength and conditioning training space they need. Your tax-deductible gift will help us knock it out of the park. Join us at the level that is right for you. Donate online at wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Bailey Klitsky will start the 7th inning for Wichita State. Did a good job of getting the Shockers out of the top of the 6th, but Central Florida still managed to score 4 runs. They lead 4-3. Now the Knights looking for some insurance, and they'll start off the 9th inning with the 7th inning with the person that started the 6th, Tamisha Glover, who had that leadoff home run. So Glover to get it started, then we'll go back to the top of the order after that. So can Klitsky keep it a 1-run deficit for Wichita State? That's the job for Bailey right here. First pitch of inning number 7. She had a home run swing on that one, but it looked like Klitsky took something off.
Yeah, Bailey Klitsky's got a very, very dangerous changeup, and you can see the smile on Glover's face. Someone who just had a great home run to start off the 6th inning, coming up empty there on a really nice pitch from Bailey Klitsky.
That one out over the plate, and it's fouled over to the left side. Mackenzie Wright tries to make some room and does to make a catch, leaning back. What a nice play by Mackenzie. We've talked a few times today in different situations about being near a wall or a fence, and Mackenzie was, but had plenty of room as it turns out.
A lot of time in the air, so Mackenzie Wright had a lot of time to watch that ball, but we've seen the ball do a lot of weird things up in the air tonight with the wind that we've had that's kind of turned itself off and on again. And Mackenzie Wright, being the senior that she is, comes in the clutch and gets that big first out.
Megan Greenwell sees the first one go high and away from Klitsky. 1 ball and no strikes. Greenwell, a third inning triple, representing her only base hit of the game. Slaps this one back to the screen. Central Florida still only with 3 hits in the game. But that 6th inning included some of those and an error as well. And before you knew it, the Knights had taken the lead, something they still have right now. To center, and coming on to make the catch is going to be Asia Weber, 2 away. So far, so good for Bailey Klitsky. Due up for the Shockers in the bottom of the 7th inning. Asia Weber, Lori Derrick, O'Reilly Buck, 2, 3, and 4. So good part of the order for the Shockers to try to get it done in the bottom of the 7th. Hopefully for them, only needing a run. First pitch to Cassidy Brewer is in there for a strike, 0-1. Klitsky delivers, lined foul. What's interesting, Jamie, is in game 1, in the bottom of the 7th, at the bottom of the 8th inning, when the Shockers needed 3 to tie, it was Derrico that led off. Here, it'll be a batter right above her, Asia Weber. So both times they're going to get near the top of the order going into the bottom of the last inning with a deficit. It worked okay last time out.
Yeah, I'm sure Wichita State really hoping that they see a repeat of game 1, at least with the finale. I'm sure this isn't the position they were expecting themselves in after inning number 3, but nonetheless, nice little pitch from Klitsky. She really thought that was the end of the top half of the 7th here.
I think a lot of people did. Not as many questionable ball strike calls in game 2 compared to the first game, though, for sure. Count still 1-2. You think about, though, how many pitches in a game a home plate umpire's got to be right. It's not easy. I mean, we're talking about around 100 pitches in a game for a pitcher. Liner, left field, that's going to be a 2-out base hit. So if you multiply that times 2 for each team, over 200 pitches in a game, you know, to miss even 10 sounds pretty good, but in our minds it's not. But it's tough back there.
Yeah, it seems like they just come at the worst times. It's just like an error. It's just like anything else. I mean, they're just as much a player on this field as anybody else, where it's a human being out there who might miss something every now and then, but you got to give it to them for the amount of times they are right compared to wrong.
Aubrey Johnson swings and misses, 0-1 to her. Johnson reached on a fielder's choice in the 6th inning and came around to score, one of the 4 Knights that did. Down in the count here, 0-2.
I'll tell you what, since Klitzy's come in, I talked about her during the warm-up pitches struggling to find the zone, and she seems like she's found it. She's been ahead of most of the hitters she's faced. Seen a lot of fly ball, foul balls. Definitely what Ryan Stefankowitz wants to see as her pitching coach so far in her outing tonight.
The 0-2 just barely misses. Klitsky again walking toward the dugout. Thought that was strike 3. That one didn't appear to be as close as the last strike 3 she thought she delivered, but here we go, 1-2. Swing and a miss, she pulled the string, and a strikeout swinging. Johnson goes down. So, to the bottom of the 7th we go. The Shockers need 1 to tie and 2 to win on WSUTV.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra-smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes is the perfect place to spend time with family and friends. Open to the public, the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes features 8 bowling lanes, billiard tables, plus great food and beverages like freshly made burgers, sandwiches, salads, and Jamie's favorite, cold beer. The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes is located in the lower level of the Radigan Student Center, and it's the perfect place for a kid's birthday party, group event, or a night out with friends. The Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes bringing you Shocker softball on a Friday night from Wichita. You're looking at me like I said something wrong.
Touche.
All right, Shockers need one to tie. Asia Weber to get it started for Wichita State. Weber, Lori Derrico, and Riley Buck, 2, 3, and 4. First pitch to Weber, a liner into right field and a good start. Base hit for Asia, and the tying run is aboard. So Lori Derrico steps up now.
Great little piece of hitting from Weber. She's been out a few times, only reaching base so far in game 2 with a walk. So that's a nice little piece of hitting to get things started for her Shockers here in the bottom of the 7th.
Elizabeth Economan, Ryan Stefankowitz, Christy Bredbenner, meeting of the minds over at first. And you wonder, are they talking bunt or hit away? Do you think that's a possibility? We've seen Derrico already twice today bunt, and she's laid down some good ones.
That's true. She's just one of those players who could be a game changer, though. With one swing of the bat, she can send it over the fence. We've seen her do it time and time again. Is she due? With a 585 slugging percentage, 9 home runs on the season. We'll see what they decide.
Swinging away and a drive to center. Are you kidding? Another walk-off. It is! Ball game! Wichita State wins. Two walk-off home runs today. Bailey Lang in the first game and Lori Derrico here. And Wichita State has knocked off Central Florida 5-4. Who was the crazy guy talking about a bunt?
I think that'd be you, Steve.
Okay.
Good thing you're not out there at third base, right?
She knew it from the time she struck it. And Wichita State gets 2 walk-off home runs, 1 in an 8-inning game, and Derrico here. I'll tell you, you got to feel, too, for Sierra Word. What a job she did pitching tonight, and those were the only runs she allowed. She was terrific. And here it is again, and once again, another one to center field. How many have we seen since Wednesday night's game to center?
Exactly, and nothing against Word, too. She had a great come in, for this Central Florida team. She did great as a pitcher, but at the end of the day, you can't mess with fate. It looked like the game 1, and it ended like game 1. Right there, you saw Lori Derrico just send it over the fence. The Shockers are excited for that 2-game win today.
Back to wrap it up from a happy Wilkins Stadium right after this. Wichita State a 5-4 win.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Welcome back to Wilkins Stadium, where if one walk-off home run wasn't good enough for Wichita State, they gave us 2 today. Bailey Lang in the first game ended it in 8 innings with a 2-run shot. And then in the nightcap, Lori Derrico with the tying run at first and nobody out We were wondering if it might be a bunt situation to put the tying run at second. Derrico's done that before. Not here. A home run swing to end it.
Yeah, Lorianne Derrico picking up her 10th home run of the season, and in good fashion. You see her she knows it. She puts her arm out. She's running to first base as fast as she can, and it's unnecessary because there it goes. It's over the fence, and she scores her teammate Weber, who was already on base after a nice base hit to start things off in the 7th. The Shockers are on fire. You see them there. Just so excited as a team right now for picking up 2 wins against a great team in Central Florida today.
They even brought the big bad wolf out there to celebrate around home plate as Derrico gets it done. And boy, we saw a little bit of everything when you put the 2 games together today. It was quite fun.
Yeah, one thing you really have to look at too, and I know it was a short time, but Bailey Klitsky came out and did some great things for Wichita State there in the circle when Bingham needed her. So great job coming in and really securing that win for Wichita State tonight.
Shockers 26-17 overall, now 8-6 in the conference. Central Florida 30-18 and 8-6 as well. Wichita State has tied Central Florida in the conference. Wow, we've got more fun for you. Come back and see us on noon Sunday. No softball tomorrow. It'll be raining in Wichita. So we will talk to you on noon Central Time Sunday. Jamie, it was fun. We'll see you Sunday.
See you then.
All right, for Jamie Hull, Steve Strain, talk to you on Sunday after a Shocker sweep with a pair of walk-offs. Good night, everybody.